Hello, 441. Welcome to this week's Monday Myth. Now, I'm not purposely trying to bash any particular company, but when I do see stuff like this, I have to always go in and say, okay, what are they trying to sell you? How are they trying to get their product out? So today we're going to talk about CopperFit. Now, you've probably seen these advertisements on television, on Facebook, etc. So let's talk about the infamous CopperFit bracing. So first things first, we go to the website right here. This is the CopperFit website. I have a whole bunch of products, etc. And as we scroll through, we kind of look, okay, first thing I want to do when I go to these websites is say, okay, where is your science? Where is your evidence? If you remember our infamous Venn diagram with evidence-based practice, one, two, three, right? So we have our Venn diagram, evidence, clinician preferences, patient preferences, right? So that's our evidence-based practice model that we need to make sure we're employing here. So let's look at it. So let's talk about the benefits part. It's sitting right there. Now they have two subcategories, the copper benefits and the compression benefits. Let's handle the copper benefits first, okay? Because this is their whole product, right? It's Copper Fit. So we click on Copper Fit. Ooh, wow, a nice little graphic pops up. And they talk about thousands of years, essential. Copper's natural properties provide protection against bacteria that can cause stains, odor, and deterioration of the product. It's more effective than stainless steel or silver containing coatings. Oh my gosh, this looks like a miracle product. So let's look at the reference right here. And they actually have the reference right here, which it's right there. And if we actually go through and we read this article, it's talking about metallic copper as a antimicrobial surface. It has absolutely zero to do with putting copper in the fabrics of a garment. Okay, it doesn't talk anything about that. It's about using copper instead of stainless steel in hospital and medical facilities. If you actually scroll through this whole article, which I was actually on before I logged in here, and you can actually read it, it says right here, antimicrobial properties of copper surfaces firmly established. And then they talk about, for example, should only highly frequented sites be made out of copper, like doorknobs, faucets, bed rails. This has absolutely nothing to do with this copper fit technology that they're ingraining into the fabric here. So when they talk about odors and all this kind of stuff, and the one reference they use has zero to do with it, in my world, and I looked at the evidence-based model right here, major red flag. So that's their whole stick too. It's copper fit. That's their whole selling point. Okay, so now what do we do? We go back to get rid benefits of copper, you're gone. Let's talk about the benefits of compression. Now, this one's a little bit murkier. Now, we have to be completely open and honest and talk about what the benefits are. You can see many more references here, and they talk about a whole bunch of stuff. Now, if you remember way back when we were talking about evidence-based practice, we talked about the hierarchy of research articles, right? So we have the triangle, and if you remember what the one on the top was, way up here, systematic review and meta-analysis, okay? So systematic review, you take a whole bunch of studies, put them all together, and see what the consensus is. It's not just one study or not just two studies. Systematic review and a meta-analysis, that's the tip of the iceberg. So if you look at some of these studies that they have listed here, we got 2013, 2006, we have some other ones, 2013, 2008. So what did I do? I just went and did a very simple Google Scholar search. Went to Google Scholar and I typed in compression stockings, exercise, systematic review, and here we go. We have the effects of wearing compression stockings on exercise performance and associated indicators, systematic review, and this is 2020. So it's basically the most recent one I could find. And you can read the abstract on your own, but you can see as we scroll through the introduction and the methods, you can see how they pull together all of their articles, looking at different types of compression socks, stockings, etc., how many articles they pulled, how much they searched, etc. So they pulled a lot of research articles to put this all together. They talk about it all. So you can go and you can scroll here, and here are a list of studies that found effects of wearing compression stockings during exercise, and they go through to talk about the author, the name, and what they actually found. So it's a really interesting article if you're really into this, finding what's all about. So they talk about compression stockings and performance improvement. And I'm just going to skip to the end here because I'm not going to try to bore you with the whole thing. But basically, when you come down to the end, wearing below the knee compression stockings, which is what CopperFit is selling you, during exercise improve the actual performance in a small number of studies analyzed. 3 of them. Only 3 of them. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Different studies have different criteria, very specific criteria, etc. So there's a lot of different factors that went into it, but really they only found it 3. But here's the interesting part. There is evidence that wearing compression socks could benefit muscle fatigue and muscle soreness immediately after exercise. And there is pretty good evidence on that one, okay? So if you go back to CopperFit and they talk about reduced recovery time of muscles, etc., there may be some more validity there, okay? But does that's just a compression portion of it. It has nothing to do with their copper portion. Going back to the copper, because I don't like when they try to deceive people like that. And honestly, I think they're trying to deceive you. So you have to consider the sport, the type of performance, what you need it for, etc., before you go out and spend $20 on a compression garment. So I actually then go through, and this is systematic review. So what you can then do is actually look at all the research studies that they did. And I picked one because I'm a skiing fan. So I picked one. They actually had like an article that looked at compression in alpine skiers. So I was like, oh, that's really exciting. So obviously I'm going to check that out. And one thing that's interesting here is when they looked at this research, the way they set it up was they used very, very specific, and I'm down here, compression garments that had very specific amounts of compression that they were able to measure. So you can see that 0 millimeters of mercury, 20 or 40 millimeters of mercury in their compression. So how much does that actually put pressure on the lower leg when you wear these compression garments, okay? So the interesting thing is very specific criteria what they're looking at. So if you come back here to the CopperFit website though, and I looked all over the place, they don't ever tell you exactly how much compression the garments have. So there's no way to really extrapolate, is this, are CopperFit, are they putting 10 millimeters of mercury, 40, 50, 100? We don't know. All we have, if you look at the videos, are all these anecdotal videos of people talking, ever felt better, etc. So with that being in mind, you have to, again, does the study match what the actual product is? And if you don't see that, red flag, yellow flag, whatever you want to say. Now, one thing that bothers me about CopperFit and has nothing to do with Brett Favre, it's that they try to pump up the copper benefits, and the one research article they show has absolutely nothing to do with it, so I don't like that at all. And then they try to get you with buzzwords like energy socks, okay? And they talk about you're not going to get more energized with these socks, but they use these cool buzzwords, these action words that try to get you hooked into their product. So that is this week's Monday Myth. Again, I don't have anything personally against CopperFit, but if you're going to be selling a product, you better come with better evidence. You better come with something that actually makes sense. So on the compression side, yeah, there's pretty good evidence that it will help on the compression side. The copper side, absolutely not. I'm not seeing it. But part of being a thinking and critical consumer of knowledge is that you get choice to make your own decision. And if you think I'm full of complete junk, then you can do your own research. You can use your own background and come to your own decision. So that's today in this week's Monday Myth. I'll see you guys later.